Hi, Tina Mitchell here, creator of Victors of Our Future program, where I help you create positive, productive lifestyles and help you see that you are not a victim of your past, but a victor of your future. I have a few thoughts today that I wanted to share with you. I was thinking about the whole process of why we don't like people. Why do you meet somebody and you just feel like you don't like them for some reason? Sometimes you know right off, sometimes you don't. And our mind's always going because we're human and the judgment goes through our mind of every single person that we meet. We have first impressions of people. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. And sometimes we can be critical. Sometimes we can be critical of ourselves. Sometimes we're critical of other people. Anyways, so some of my thoughts were anytime that we are critical of somebody else, when we're thinking about them negatively or talking about them negatively, whether it's their clothes, their body, just personality traits that you may dislike about them, there's a few things that might be going on. There's some questions you can ask yourself to kind of try and get to the bottom of it. So one of them, are you jealous of them? Am I jealous of this person? Is there anything that I can possibly think of that makes me jealous of this person? So regardless of whether we're actually aware of what we may be jealous of or not, sometimes that can make us act judgmental or harshly toward the person because we're afraid that somebody out there is comparing you with them. Not the case. Nobody's comparing anybody. There's room here in this world for every single one of us in our uniqueness, and that's just not something that we should really try and worry about. So the other thing we can think of is, are you yourself guilty of whatever you're accusing them of? So if you're talking harshly and you're saying things like, I just think they're dishonest. You can't trust them. They're late and you're judgmental about them being on time or not. Let's see, what other things? Maybe, yeah, if they're dishonest, maybe you need to turn around and look at yourself. What is there inside of me that makes me, how do I phrase this? What traits am I seeing in them that I actually have? So if for some reason I actually tend to be a little bit late sometimes to wherever I'm going and I don't like that about myself and I see somebody else do it, there's a chance, if you're insecure about it, that you'll just be like, oh my gosh, they're late. Maybe hoping that you can defer that judgment onto them so maybe people won't notice it in you. And this is something people do all the time. You could turn it around and realize, oh, I'm late all the time. I try not to be late in real life all the time. But I'm late too. I can be compassionate. I can think and realize, oh, guess what? I'm late too. I get it. We're human. It happens. So, let's see. So it's our own insecurities inside of us and unresolved issues that make us make others wrong for things that they're doing. There's this weird payoff for making others wrong that says there's a few payoffs, but one of them is that I'm making you wrong so that I feel right. And usually we're insecure about something and we want to feel right and want to make them wrong. Again, like I'd mentioned, to kind of defer the attention off of you onto somebody else so that they'll see that in somebody else and they won't see it in you. There's kind of like a high that can come from that, and it can become a habit that people have. Let's see. Another thought was, you might think people don't notice what you're doing when you're making other people wrong, but they totally will notice. And I mean, there's a few people that won't really catch on to what's going on, but people are always watching you. And I don't mean that to make you seem like you're self-conscious, but people do watch you. They watch your behavior. And we're always watching everybody's behavior. That's how humans work. And so, you don't want to seem like you're insecure and untrustworthy. If you're with people and you're speaking poorly of everybody around you, these people that are around you are going to be afraid to be friends with you because they're going to be afraid that once you walk out of the room that you're going to be being spoken badly about, and nobody wants that. So it makes you untrustworthy. Sorry, I don't mean to be shaking my camera. Um, one of the things so one of the other things is whatever you're judging in them, I had mentioned that you may have that trait inside yourself. A lot of times the names we call other people are things that we ourselves struggle with. And because we have a guilty conscience, it's kind of at the forefront of our mind. And so, like I said, we're trying to just defer that attention onto somebody else. We're always calling it out in other people just to try and make them wrong, to feel right, to hide it. But the other thing is, there will be a trait in somebody else that you will see that you won't like, and there's a reason why you don't like that trait. You have some belief about whatever it is that the trait that they have, you have a belief about it that that's a broken belief system that's not true. So you're insecure about how they dress because you're afraid that if you dress like that, you'll be seen as XYZ, or it's a fear. Sorry, I'm trying to get my words out. Kind of like it's a fear of something you're afraid of becoming. Okay, there we go. So you either have a fear of becoming whatever it is, or it's a trait that you see in yourself that you're trying to actually hide. So if they have a goofy laugh and it makes you uncomfortable, like you're so afraid that if you're a little bit too loud, or if you have a goofy laugh, or if something about you stands out, or if you have a different body figure, that you'll be made wrong for it somehow. So you can ask yourself the question, what about this thought that I have? Say if somebody had a kind of a louder laugh, what's wrong with that laugh? What do I feel like is bad about that laugh? Or what if you have an obnoxious laugh? Why do you feel like it's a bad thing? Why can't you just embrace it and kind of debunk the belief system that you have about it that you make yourself wrong, or that you feel like other people will make you wrong? Because you just are who you are. If there's something you don't like about yourself and you're okay with changing it, go ahead and work on changing it. But all of our little things about us, our quirks and everything, make us who we are. And that's an awesome thing. Nobody wants to be the same as anybody else. They're like, really, you don't. You don't want to be the same. You want to just be you, and you want to be accepted for who you are. So it's important that we try and just accept people for who they are, because that's ultimately what we all want, is just to be accepted for who we are. That doesn't mean you have to make everybody your best friend, but as long as you can if you can start seeing the good in other people, you'll start seeing more good in yourself. But when you see good in yourself, you are more easily able to pick out the good that's in other people. Anyway, so those are just some thoughts for today, and let's just practice on anytime that you might have those negative thoughts, don't let them come out and run out your mouth. That's when you speak them that trouble happens. So just practice on being compassionate towards people, and if you see somebody who is being grumpy, just think, oh, they might be having a bad day, or I wonder what's going on that's making them act this way, and just err on the side of judgment. Seek for the good in people, and you will definitely see more victory in your life. Love you guys. See you later.